Did you steal that tuxedo from the catering staff? Victoria Wellington snatches the microphone from the charity auctioneer. She points directly at Adrian Thompson standing center stage. 800 guests gasp as she continues her attack. Ladies and gentlemen, security failed tonight. This imposter somehow made it onto our donor recognition stage. Her voice drips with disgust. Honestly, how did catering staff get past the velvet ropes? She grabs Adrian's sleeve, attempting to drag him toward the stage exit. Real philanthropists donated millions. You clearly don't belong here. Adrian remains perfectly still. His calm expression never changes. Phones capture every second. The crowd watches in stunned silence as privilege attacks dignity. These real-life stories happen daily. Black stories reveal uncomfortable truths. Touching stories emerge from cruelest moments. Have you ever been publicly destroyed while hundreds watched? Have you wondered how the powerless can transform humiliation into justice? The spotlight burns hot on Adrian's face as Victoria continues her public execution. She turns to address the crowd directly, her voice amplified across the grand ballroom of the Ritz-Carlton. Ladies and gentlemen, this is exactly why we need better security screening. Her manicured finger points at Adrian like a weapon. Catering staff should use service entrances, not donor entrances. Charles Wellington climbs the stage steps, his $200,000 Rolex catching the light. He takes the microphone from his daughter with practiced authority. Victoria's absolutely right. We donate $50 million annually to this foundation. His voice carries the weight of generational wealth. We simply cannot have random people disrupting our $10 million fundraiser. The crowd shifts uncomfortably below. 800 of America's most powerful individuals watch from their tables draped in white silk. Crystal champagne glasses pause halfway to lips. The tension spreads like ripples across water. Victoria rolls her eyes dramatically, turning her back while Adrian attempts to speak. Her body language screams dismissal. She examines her nails as if bored by his very existence. Excuse me, but there's been a misunderstanding, Adrian says calmly into the wireless microphone clipped to his lapel. The only misunderstanding, Charles interrupts, is how you got past our security checkpoint. From the front row, Sarah Davis raises her phone higher. Her lifestyle blog commands 2.3 million followers across Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. The live stream counter climbs steadily, 3,400 viewers and rising. Comments flood her screen in real time. Did she really just say that? This is 2025, not 1925. Someone's about to get sued. Why isn't anyone stopping this? Sarah adjusts her angle to capture both Adrian's composed face and Victoria's animated gestures. The contrast tells its own story. 3 major donors at Table 1 nod in agreement with the Wellingtons. Margaret Stevens, oil heiress worth $2.8 billion, whispers to her companion. Finally, someone's addressing the riffraff problem. At Table 12, tech mogul Harrison Blake live streams on his personal account. His 800,000 followers watch the drama unfold. The hashtag Galagate appears in dozens of comments within minutes. Wait staff positioned around the ballroom's perimeter avoid eye contact. They understand the unspoken rule. Association with trouble means termination. 3 servers duck behind marble columns, pretending to arrange flowers. Adrian's Platinum American Express Centurion card peeks from his jacket pocket as he adjusts his position. The black metal catches light for exactly 2 seconds. Only the closest cameras capture it. His watch tells its own story. The Patek Philippe Nautilus, 5711, retails for $180,000. Its blue face gleams subtly under the stage lights. Most guests miss the detail entirely. A Delta first-class boarding pass sticks slightly from his program booklet. The gold medallion status marker is barely visible. These small signals paint a different picture for those trained to notice. James Carter, the event coordinator, appears stage left. His clipboard shakes slightly in his hands as he approaches the drama. Years of managing high society events taught him one rule: side with the biggest donors. "Sir, I'm going to have to ask you to exit quietly," Carter says, his voice cracking slightly. "We can discuss this privately in the administrative office." Hotel manager Susan Miller emerges from the crowd like a shark sensing blood. Her power suit and authority badge identify her immediately. She climbs the stage steps without invitation. "Mr. Thompson, I presume?" Her tone suggests she's already made her decision. The Wellington family has been generous patrons of this hotel for 37 years. Security guards position themselves strategically, 2 near the stage steps, 1 by the emergency exit. Their black uniforms blend with the shadows, but their presence sends a clear message. The ballroom's atmosphere grows thicker with each passing moment. Conversations at distant tables pause as guests strain to hear every word. The quarterly charity auction has transformed into an impromptu trial. Victoria reclaims the microphone, her confidence swelling with each ally who joins her cause. "I appreciate everyone's patience while we handle this unfortunate situation." She surveys the crowd like a queen addressing her subjects. "Our foundation has raised over $200 million in 5 years. We cannot allow our reputation to be tarnished by individuals who clearly don't understand our standards." Adrian remains motionless throughout the verbal assault. His hands rest calmly at his sides. No fidgeting, no defensive postures. His breathing stays steady and controlled. The crowd studies his reaction for cracks in his composure. Some expect anger. Others anticipate surrender. Few recognize the calculated patience of someone playing a longer game. Sarah's live stream reaches 8,000 concurrent viewers. The comments section explodes with real-time reactions. "This man is way too calm. Something's not right here. Why isn't he defending himself?" Plot twist incoming. The hashtag Galagate trends across 3 platforms simultaneously. Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok users share clips within seconds of Sarah's broadcast. The story spreads beyond the ballroom walls. Charles Wellington checks his phone briefly, noting the growing online attention. A slight frown crosses his weathered face before he masks it with renewed authority. "Security will escort you out through the service corridor," he announces. "We prefer to handle these matters discreetly." Adrian finally moves. He reaches slowly into his jacket pocket, extracting his phone with deliberate precision. Every eye in the ballroom follows his movement. The device appears ordinary. Black case, standard size, nothing remarkable to casual observers. But Adrian's finger hovers over a specific contact with practiced familiarity. "Before anyone makes irreversible decisions," Adrian says quietly, his voice cutting through the tension, "perhaps we should all take a moment to consider the full situation." His thumb moves toward the call button as 800 of America's most powerful people lean forward in their chairs, sensing something significant is about to unfold. Victoria's laugh echoes through the sound system like breaking glass. She gestures theatrically toward Adrian's phone, playing to her audience of 800. "Oh, wonderful. Now he's making calls during our formal event." Her voice drips with theatrical disdain. "Security, please confiscate that device immediately." The 2 guards move closer, their polished shoes clicking against the hardwood stage. Their faces remain professionally neutral, but their positioning speaks volumes. One blocks the stage left exit, the other covers stage right. Charles Wellington adjusts his bow tie with practiced arrogance. "Young man, you're making this unnecessarily difficult for everyone involved." He addresses the crowd directly, his voice carrying decades of boardroom authority. "Ladies and gentlemen, this individual refuses to show proper identification. He refuses to explain his presence at our exclusive fundraiser. The ballroom murmurs spread like wildfire. Table conversations bubble with speculation and judgment. Crystal glasses clink as guests lean toward their companions, whispering theories and assumptions. I demand to see your invitation immediately, Victoria announces, her hand extended expectantly. Security protocols exist for everyone's protection. Adrian's phone remains in his palm, unopened. His thumb rests calmly on the contact list as chaos swirls around him. The stage lights illuminate his composed features while tension builds exponentially. Sarah's live stream counter jumps to 15,000 viewers. Her phone battery drops to 73% as engagement explodes across social platforms. Comments flood faster than she can read them. This is going viral right now. Someone call the news stations. I can't look away. This man is too calm for someone being humiliated. Harrison Blake live streams from Table 12, his tech billionaire status lending credibility to the growing audience. His followers share clips across LinkedIn, Facebook, and emerging platforms. The story spreads exponentially. James Carter waves frantically at hotel security from the wings. 3 additional guards appear from different entrances, surrounding the ballroom's perimeter. Their coordinated movement suggests predetermined protocols for handling disruptions. Susan Miller produces a tablet from her briefcase, scrolling through guest registration lists. Her fingers move rapidly across the screen as she searches for Adrian's name among the approved attendees. Mr. Thompson doesn't appear in our confirmed guest database, she announces loudly enough for nearby microphones to capture. This confirms our suspicions about unauthorized entry. The crowd's energy shifts detectably. Whispers become murmurs. Murmurs become conversations. The social pressure builds like steam in a pressure cooker. Margaret Stevens rises from Table 1, her $3 million necklace catching every camera flash. I move that we vote on removing this individual immediately. All in favor? 15 hands raise across the ballroom. Diamonds and gold watches glitter under the chandeliers as wealth demonstrates its collective power. The visual impact is undeniable. Victoria claps her hands together with genuine delight. Democracy in action, everyone. The donors have spoken clearly. She turns back to Adrian with renewed confidence. You have exactly 60 seconds to exit voluntarily before security physically escorts you out. The countdown begins in the crowd's collective consciousness. Guests check their watches and phones, tracking the ultimatum's progress. The tension becomes almost unbearable. Adrian finally unlocks his phone with a simple swipe. The small action draws every eye in the massive ballroom. 800 of America's most powerful people watch a single finger move across a screen. He scrolls deliberately through his contacts, past dozens of names that would surprise his accusers. His movement remains unhurried despite the mounting pressure and public humiliation. 30 seconds remaining, Victoria announces like a game show host. Security, prepare for physical intervention. The guards step closer, their hands moving to their utility belts. Hotel policy requires minimal force, but their presence sends an unmistakable message about consequences. Sarah zooms her camera lens, capturing Adrian's face in perfect detail. His expression hasn't changed since the confrontation began. No anger, no fear, no desperation, only calculating patience. The live stream audience grows to 25,000 viewers as word spreads across social networks. #Galagate trends in 12 major cities simultaneously. News outlets begin monitoring the situation. 15 seconds, Charles Wellington announces, checking his Rolex with theatrical precision. Last chance for dignified cooperation. Adrian selects a contact labeled simply Protocol 7. His thumb hovers over the call button as the final countdown reaches its climax. 10, 9, 8. Victoria counts dramatically, encouraging the crowd to join her. Several voices echo the numbers, creating a chant that reverberates through the ballroom. 7, 6, 5. Adrian presses call. The phone rings once. A professional voice answers immediately. Thompson Capital Group Executive Line? How may I direct your call? Execute Protocol 7, immediately. Adrian's voice cuts through the countdown like a blade through silk. The 4 words land with the weight of artillery shells. Every sound in the ballroom dies instantly. 800 conversations stop mid-sentence. Victoria's countdown freezes at 4. Her mouth remains open, but no sound emerges. The sudden silence feels heavier than the previous chaos. Charles Wellington's confident smirk wavers as he processes Adrian's words. Thompson Capital Group registers in his mind like an alarm bell. His face begins draining color. The security guards pause mid-step, confused by the dramatic shift in atmosphere. Their training didn't prepare them for this particular scenario. Confirmed, Mr. Thompson. Protocol 7 is now active. Notifications sending to all relevant parties. The voice from Adrian's phone carries clearly through the ballroom's perfect acoustics. Time frame? Adrian asks calmly, as if discussing weather rather than orchestrating something that will change everything. Immediate implementation across all holdings. Cascade effects begin within minutes. Board notifications are already in progress. Adrian ends the call with the same deliberate precision he used to place it. He slides the phone back into his jacket pocket and finally looks directly at Victoria Wellington. Now, he says quietly, his voice somehow carrying to every corner of the massive room, we can have that conversation about proper identification. The silence stretches like a taut wire. Every phone camera captures this moment of complete power reversal. The stage that witnessed his humiliation now becomes the platform for his quiet revolution. Charles Wellington's phone buzzes with an emergency notification. Then again. Then continuously as messages flood his device with devastating news that will reshape his family's entire future. The real show is about to begin. Charles Wellington's phone vibrates like an angry wasp against his chest. He fumbles for the device, his practiced composure cracking for the first time tonight. The screen displays 17 missed calls from his CFO. An emergency text message appears in bold letters. Urgent. Thompson Capital just withdrew from all agreements. $1.8 billion deal terminated. Penalty clauses triggered. Emergency board meeting scheduled 6 a.m. Monday. Stock futures already dropping in after-hours trading. The color drains from Charles's face like water from a broken dam. His hands tremble as he reads the message again, hoping his eyes deceived him. They hadn't. Victoria notices her father's sudden paleness, but continues her performance for the captivated audience. Ladies and gentlemen, this individual has wasted enough of our valuable time. Mr. Wellington, Adrian says softly, his voice cutting through Victoria's speech like a surgeon's scalpel. I believe your phone requires your immediate attention. Charles looks up from his screen, his eyes wide with dawning horror. The man he'd helped humiliate for the past 15 minutes just destroyed his family's financial empire with a single phone call. Thompson Capital Group, Adrian continues, his tone remaining conversational despite the chaos he's unleashed, has been Wellington Industries' largest private investor for exactly 3 years, 2 months, and 16 days. The ballroom erupts in whispers as guests process this revelation. Sarah's live stream audience explodes to 45,000 viewers as the story takes its dramatic turn. Comments flow like a digital waterfall. Plot twist! I knew something was up. This man just destroyed them. Wellington stock is gonna crash. Margaret Stevens at Table 1 pulls out her phone, frantically checking Wellington Industries' stock price on her trading app. The after-hours numbers make her gasp audibly. Impossible, Victoria whispers, but her voice carries through the wireless microphone. Her theatrical confidence evaporates like morning mist. You're lying. Adrian reaches into his jacket pocket again, this time producing a leather portfolio. He opens it with the same deliberate precision he'd shown with his phone. Inside, legal documents bear official seals and signatures. Partnership agreement between Wellington Industries and Thompson Capital Group, he reads calmly. Executed March 15, 2022. Total investment, $1.8 billion. He turns the page with theatrical timing that would make Victoria proud. Section 4.7. Material Breach Clause. Any action deemed discriminatory or harmful to Thompson Capital's reputation triggers immediate withdrawal provisions. Charles Wellington staggers backward, his legs suddenly unsteady. James Carter rushes to support the billionaire patriarch, but Charles waves him away with a trembling hand. Section 4.8, Adrian continues, his voice growing stronger as Victoria's grows weaker. Penalty clauses for emergency withdrawal. $340 million in defaulted contracts. The security guards step away from Adrian as understanding dawns. Hotel manager Susan Miller backs toward the stage exit, suddenly eager to distance herself from the unfolding disaster. Controlling interest documentation, Adrian announces, producing another folder. Thompson Capital Group holds 34% of Wellington Industries' quarterly revenue through direct investment and subsidiary partnerships. Harrison Blake live streams frantically from Table 12, his tech billionaire instincts recognizing a seismic shift in corporate power. His followers watch history unfold in real time. We also control 12 of your major suppliers through our extended partnership network, Adrian explains, his calm demeanor contrasting sharply with the chaos surrounding him. Their contracts contain parallel breach clauses. Victoria's microphone slips from her suddenly nerveless fingers. The device hits the stage floor with a sharp crack that echoes through the silent ballroom. Monday morning, Adrian continues, consulting his watch with casual precision. Wellington Industries stock will open down approximately 23% based on our preliminary projections. Sarah zooms her camera closer, capturing every micro-expression on the Wellington family's faces. Their transformation from arrogant accusers to devastated victims unfolds like a masterclass in cosmic justice. The cascade effect, Adrian explains to his captivated audience of 800, will impact approximately 2,000 employees across 17 states. Unless, of course, management demonstrates immediate commitment to systemic change. Charles Wellington finds his voice, though it emerges as a hoarse whisper. This is business suicide. You'll destroy yourself along with us. Adrian's smile appears for the first time tonight. It's neither cruel nor vindictive. Instead, it carries the quiet satisfaction of someone who's planned every move 3 steps ahead. Thompson Capital Group maintains diversified holdings across 47 different industries, he replies. Wellington Industries represents approximately 4% of our total portfolio. The mathematical reality hits Charles like a physical blow. Adrian can absorb this loss. The Wellingtons cannot. However, Adrian continues, his voice softening slightly, destruction was never my objective tonight. Education was. He addresses the crowd directly, commanding attention from the same stage where he'd been humiliated 20 minutes earlier. The reversal of power is complete and undeniable. Every person in this ballroom witnessed discrimination in action. You saw assumptions made based on appearance rather than substance. You watched privilege attack dignity without provocation. Victoria collapses into a nearby chair, her $50,000 gown pooling around her like defeated dreams. Her father stares at his phone as more devastating notifications arrive with each passing minute. But tonight also demonstrates something more important, Adrian continues. Strategic thinking defeats crude prejudice every single time. Intelligence trumps inherited wealth when properly applied. The live stream audience reaches 78,000 viewers as clips spread across every major social platform. #Galagate trends in 37 countries. News outlets begin picking up the story for morning broadcasts. The choice now belongs to the Wellington family, Adrian announces, his voice carrying clearly to every corner of the massive ballroom. They can learn from tonight's lesson, or they can suffer its full consequences. He pauses dramatically, allowing the weight of his words to settle. But this is only the beginning of tonight's education for everyone present. Charles Wellington's phone continues buzzing with emergency calls from board members, investors, and lawyers. Each notification brings worse news than the last. The empire his grandfather built teeters on the edge of collapse. Adrian stands center stage, no longer the victim of public humiliation, but the architect of corporate justice. 800 witnesses document his transformation from powerless target to unstoppable force. The real lesson is just beginning. Adrian steps toward the center of the stage, his presence commanding absolute attention from 800 transfixed guests. The spotlight that once highlighted his humiliation now illuminates his authority. Wellington Industries, he begins, his voice carrying the precision of a corporate surgeon, depends on Thompson Capital for exactly 34% of quarterly revenue across all business divisions. Charles Wellington grips the stage railing, his knuckles white against the polished brass. Each word from Adrian's mouth drives another nail into his financial coffin. Our partnership agreements extend beyond direct investment, Adrian continues, consulting his leather portfolio with methodical calm. Thompson Capital controls 12 of your major suppliers through subsidiary partnerships and holding companies. He turns a page, the paper rustling like autumn leaves in the deadly silence. Apex Manufacturing, 47% ownership. Delta Logistics, controlling interest at 51%. Morrison Steel, 63% through our Cleveland holdings. Victoria remains slumped in her chair, staring at her father's increasingly pale face. The confident woman who'd publicly humiliated a stranger 20 minutes ago now looks like a child watching her world collapse. Each supplier contract, Adrian explains to his captivated audience, contains synchronized breach clauses activated by tonight's Protocol 7 implementation. Sarah's live stream audience climbs toward 85,000 viewers as the corporate destruction unfolds in real time. Her phone battery drops to 61%, but she continues broadcasting this historic moment. The financial mathematics are quite simple, Adrian states, his tone remaining conversational despite the catastrophic information he's revealing. Our immediate withdrawal triggers penalty clauses worth $340 million in defaulted contracts. Charles Wellington's phone buzzes again. Another emergency message from his board of directors. Reuters picking up the story. Stock futures down 18% in Hong Kong markets. Need immediate damage control strategy. But the cascade effects extend far beyond initial penalties, Adrian continues, seemingly oblivious to Charles's mounting panic. Wellington Industries' credit rating will drop 2 full grades by Thursday morning. He pauses, allowing the crowd to absorb the implications. Financial sophisticates throughout the ballroom understand exactly what credit downgrades mean for a leveraged corporation. Existing debt covenants will be triggered, Adrian explains for those less familiar with corporate finance. Your current loans total approximately $4.2 billion across 7 major institutions. Margaret Stevens at Table 1 frantically types on her phone, likely selling any Wellington Industries stock in her portfolio before the markets open Monday morning. When credit ratings drop, Adrian continues his methodical destruction. Loan acceleration clauses activate automatically. Wellington Industries will face immediate repayment demands totaling $4.2 billion. Victoria finally finds her voice, though it emerges as a desperate whisper. You're destroying thousands of jobs. Innocent people will suffer. Adrian's expression softens slightly, the first crack in his corporate armor. You're absolutely correct, Ms. Wellington. Innocent people always suffer when leadership makes catastrophic decisions. He addresses the crowd directly, his voice gaining emotional weight. 2,000 employees across 17 states will face uncertainty because tonight's discrimination was deemed acceptable by management. Charles Wellington staggers forward, his billion-dollar empire crumbling with each passing minute. What do you want? Money? Public apologies? Name your price. The price, Adrian replies with quiet intensity, is systemic change. He produces another document from his portfolio, this one bearing official legal seals. Thompson Capital's terms for partnership restoration are non-negotiable and comprehensive. The ballroom leans forward collectively, 800 of America's most powerful people hanging on every word from the man they'd watched being humiliated minutes earlier. Term 1. Comprehensive unconscious bias training for all board members, senior management, and department heads. 40 hours annually, conducted by certified external consultants. Victoria's face contorts with disgust. You can't force us to... Term 2, Adrian continues, overriding her objection. Establishment of the Thompson-Wellington Diversity Fund with an initial endowment of $50 million. Charles Wellington's legs nearly buckle. $50 million represents a significant portion of the family's liquid assets. This fund will provide scholarships and startup capital for underrepresented entrepreneurs in technology, finance, and manufacturing sectors. Harrison Blake live streams the demands to his tech industry followers, many of whom cheer the systematic dismantling of old money privilege. Term 3. Appointment of 3 African-American board members within 60 days, along with a dedicated chief diversity officer reporting directly to the CEO. Adrian's voice gains strength as he details each requirement. Term 4. Implementation of real-time inclusion monitoring systems across all company locations. He produces a tablet showing a sophisticated app interface. This technology tracks employee interactions, identifies bias patterns, and provides immediate intervention protocols. Term 5. Public acknowledgement of tonight's discriminatory behavior, followed by a comprehensive apology broadcast across all company communication channels. The live stream audience explodes with reactions as Adrian's demands become public. Comments flood faster than anyone can read. Justice served. This is how you fight racism. Corporate accountability in action. Wellington family getting destroyed. You have exactly 72 hours to accept these terms, Adrian announces, his voice cutting through the digital chaos. Failure to comply results in permanent partnership termination. Charles Wellington's phone displays 17 missed calls from board members, 12 from major investors, and 43 from financial journalists seeking comment. Thompson Capital's exit becomes irreversible, Adrian continues relentlessly. Our 127 partner investors will follow our lead within 30 days. He consults his watch with theatrical precision. That withdrawal cascade will reduce Wellington Industries' market capitalization by approximately 63%. Victoria struggles to stand, her designer gown twisted around her legs like silk shackles. This is extortion. We'll sue you into bankruptcy. Adrian's smile returns, carrying the confidence of someone holding all the cards. Ms. Wellington, I welcome that legal challenge. He produces one final document, this one bearing federal court seals. Thompson Capital maintains a team of 47 attorneys specializing in discrimination law. The paper rustles as he opens it for the crowd to see. We've already filed preliminary injunctions protecting tonight's witnesses from retaliation. Sarah's camera captures Victoria's face as understanding dawns. Every person who witnessed her discrimination is now legally protected from Wellington family revenge. Additionally, Adrian continues, tonight's live streams and recordings constitute admissible evidence in federal court under Title VII of the Civil Rights Act. Charles Wellington realizes the trap's true scope. Adrian didn't just destroy their business partnership, he's built an ironclad legal fortress around his victory. The choice is simple, Adrian concludes, addressing the Wellington family directly. Accept systematic change and restore your company's reputation, or face complete corporate destruction in both financial markets and federal court. He steps back from the microphone, his ultimatum delivered with surgical precision. 800 witnesses have watched him transform from victim to victor through pure strategic brilliance. The corporate showdown is complete. The Wellington Empire's survival now depends entirely on their willingness to evolve beyond the prejudices that brought them to this moment. Charles Wellington stares at his phone as more emergency notifications arrive, each one confirming that his family's century-old dynasty hangs by a thread controlled entirely by the man they'd tried to humiliate. 48 hours later, the Wellington Industries boardroom buzzes with unprecedented tension. Emergency meetings rarely happen on Saturday mornings, but Charles Wellington's empire teeters on the edge of complete collapse. Victoria Wellington sits silently at the far end of the mahogany conference table, her usual commanding presence reduced to sullen defeat. Dark circles under her eyes reveal sleepless nights spent watching her family's stock price plummet across international markets. "The board has reached a unanimous decision," announces Patricia Morrison, the company's lead independent director. Her voice carries the weight of institutional authority. "Victoria Wellington is hereby removed from all board positions, effective immediately." Victoria's head snaps up, her eyes flashing with familiar arrogance. "You can't possibly—" "The motion passed 11-0, Patricia continues, her tone brooking no argument. "Your actions at Thursday night's gala constitute gross misconduct and material breach of our corporate values." Charles Wellington stares at his hands, watching his daughter's corporate execution unfold with grim acceptance. The alternative, complete financial destruction, leaves no room for sentiment. "Furthermore," Patricia adds, consulting her prepared statement, "Charles Wellington will undergo mandatory sensitivity coaching with Dr. Elena Rodriguez, a certified diversity consultant." The patriarch's jaw tightens at this public humiliation, but he nods acceptance. 60 hours of intensive training represents a small price compared to losing everything his grandfather built. "The company will also issue a public apology acknowledging Thursday evening's discriminatory behavior," Patricia continues. "This statement will be broadcast across all corporate communication channels." James Carter, the event coordinator whose career ended Friday morning, watches the proceedings from unemployment. Hotel manager Susan Miller faces similar consequences, suspended pending a full investigation into her biased response protocols. Regarding Mr. Thompson's specific demands, Patricia reads from a legal document, Wellington Industries accepts all 5 terms without modification or delay. She turns to the first page, her voice gaining strength with each requirement. Comprehensive unconscious bias training for all board members and senior management begins Monday morning. Charles Wellington's phone displays the devastating financial reality. Wellington Industries stock closed Friday down 23%. International markets show no mercy for discriminatory behavior broadcast to millions of viewers. The Thompson Wellington Diversity Fund launches with a $50 million endowment, Patricia announces. Initial scholarships will support 100 underrepresented entrepreneurs across technology, finance, and manufacturing sectors. Victoria slumps further into her chair, watching $50 million of family wealth redirect toward the communities she'd spent her life dismissing. 3 new board appointments have been confirmed, Patricia continues. Dr. Marcus Johnson from Harvard Business School, Sarah Williams from Goldman Sachs, and attorney David Brown from the NAACP Legal Defense Fund. The corporate transformation accelerates beyond Adrian's original demands. Wellington Industries' survival requires demonstrating genuine commitment to systematic change, not mere compliance. Our new Chief Diversity Officer, Dr. Angela Thompson, no relation to Adrian Thompson, begins her position Monday morning, Patricia announces. She reports directly to the CEO with full authority over inclusion initiatives. The inclusion monitoring app launches across all company locations within 2 weeks. Employees download the software that tracks interactions, identifies bias patterns, and provides immediate intervention protocols. Real-time dashboards display company-wide inclusion metrics. Managers receive instant alerts about problematic behavior patterns. The system transforms workplace culture through constant, gentle correction rather than dramatic punishment. The intellectual victory model, Adrian explains during his follow-up interview with Sarah Davis, prioritizes education over destruction. Sarah's original live stream reached 2.1 million total views across platforms. Her exclusive follow-up interview generates another 800,000 views as the story completes its arc from humiliation to justice. Strategic thinking always defeats crude prejudice, Adrian continues, his voice carrying the quiet satisfaction of someone who'd proven his point completely. Violence and revenge create cycles. Intelligence creates solutions. The media impact extends far beyond Wellington Industries. Harvard Business School adds the Gala case study to their required curriculum. Students analyze Adrian's systematic approach to confronting institutional discrimination. Corporate training programs nationwide incorporate footage from Thursday night's live stream. Adrian's measured response becomes the gold standard for handling workplace bias with strategic precision rather than emotional reaction. Wellington Industries stock recovers slowly but steadily. International investors respond positively to the company's comprehensive diversity initiatives. The stock price reaches pre-controversy levels within 6 months. Systematic change requires systematic thinking, Adrian explains during a keynote speech at the National Diversity Conference. Emotional reactions feel satisfying, but strategic responses create lasting transformation. Several conference attendees approach Adrian afterward with genuine interest. 3 new business partnerships emerge from these conversations, expanding Thomson Capital's influence across multiple industries. Victoria Wellington disappears from public view entirely. Her social media accounts go dark. Former friends distance themselves as her discriminatory behavior becomes synonymous with outdated privilege. Charles Wellington's public apology tour includes appearances on 3 major news networks. His prepared statements acknowledge the family's deeply troubling behavior and commitment to meaningful change. The apology process proves more transformative than anyone anticipated. Charles begins understanding how inherited privilege blinded him to systematic discrimination affecting millions of Americans daily. "I spent 73 years believing wealth equaled wisdom," he admits during his final interview. "Thursday night taught me the difference between having money and deserving respect." 3 other major corporations adopt similar bias monitoring systems after witnessing Wellington Industries' successful transformation. The technology spreads across Fortune 500 companies seeking to avoid similar public relations disasters. Charity galas nationwide implement mandatory inclusive hosting protocols. Event coordinators receive training on recognizing and preventing discriminatory behavior before it escalates to public humiliation. Adrian establishes the annual Dignity in Business Awards program, recognizing corporate leaders who demonstrate exceptional commitment to workplace inclusion. The first ceremony attracts attendees from 37 countries. Thomson Capital creates a mentorship program connecting successful minority entrepreneurs with aspiring business owners. The initiative pairs experienced executives with promising startups, providing guidance, funding, and market access. Adrian's calm response becomes required viewing in corporate training programs across multiple industries. His demonstration that intellectual precision defeats inherited arrogance inspires systematic changes in boardrooms nationwide. The evening's live stream footage transforms into a powerful teaching tool. Business schools, diversity consultants, and corporate trainers use the documentation to illustrate effective strategies for confronting workplace discrimination. Real power, Adrian concludes during his Harvard commencement speech, lies not in tearing others down, but in lifting entire communities up through systematic, strategic change. The Wellington family's century-old dynasty survives, but only through complete philosophical transformation. Their story becomes proof that even the most entrenched privilege can evolve when faced with strategic intelligence applied with unwavering precision. Thursday night's humiliation transforms into a case study demonstrating how dignity, patience, and strategic thinking can reshape entire corporate cultures without resorting to violence, revenge, or destruction. 6 months after that transformative evening, Adrian Thomson reflects on the ripple effects still spreading across corporate America. His strategic response proved that touching stories emerge from society's cruelest moments, creating lasting change through intelligence rather than anger. Wellington Industries becomes a national model for corporate transformation. Their diversity initiatives generate positive press coverage, attracting top talent from underrepresented communities. The company's stock price exceeds pre-controversy levels by 12%. Adrian establishes the annual Dignity in Business Awards program, celebrating corporate leaders who prioritize inclusion over tradition. The inaugural ceremony attracts representatives from 43 countries, spreading systematic change across international markets. Thompson Capital's mentorship program connects successful minority entrepreneurs with aspiring business owners nationwide. These real-life stories of transformation inspire similar initiatives across multiple industries, proving that strategic elevation creates more value than systematic exclusion. His measured response becomes required viewing in corporate training programs worldwide. Business schools teach Adrian's approach as the definitive model for confronting workplace discrimination through strategic precision rather than emotional reaction. These life stories happen every day in boardrooms across America, Adrian explains during interviews. Black stories need amplification, not silence. Every touching story of injustice contains seeds of systematic change. The evening's documentation proves that real power lies in lifting entire communities through strategic thinking, not tearing individuals down through inherited privilege. Have you witnessed discrimination that went unchallenged in your workplace? Share your stories in the comments below. Your voice matters in creating change. If Adrian's strategic response inspired you, subscribe for more real-life stories of people transforming injustice into progress. Share this video to remind others that dignity and intelligence always defeat prejudice and privilege. What would you have done in Adrian's position on that stage? Let us know your thoughts below.